Hello, Don Allen, Third Live. Today we're going to be working inside of the Oculus Quest 2, and we're going to be designing an outfit inspired by the fashion that was being worn by Lil Nas X at the Met Gala. I got really inspired by the look and feel of, what the fashion. I wanted to see if I could turn some of that fashion into an AR filter. Yeah, so let's just get started here. It might take me about 1 minute to get set up, so maybe join me over on YouTube and just hang tight or just to skip ahead a little bit so that we can get to that part. I'm going to repeat this as I start the stream on Instagram as well. So we'll just get all of that situated here on my other screen. Go right there. Okay, I just want to make sure the audio is looking good. Got the green screen in there. Okay. All right, creating connection. Hello, and welcome to Creativity with Don Allen, Third Live. Today we are streaming live onto YouTube. We're going to be using the program GraphiSketch to make some fashion for Lil Nas X. I was really inspired by the outfit they were wearing during the Met Gala, and I want to see if we can try to turn it into I want to see if we can try to turn that into some AR fashion that can be worn by people. So let's just jump right in. I'm streaming here. Let's just get right into the space. It'll take a second to get into the stream and make sure that we're casting properly. So let me go to casting options and I'll go to cast, computer, next. Okay, give it a second to load. There we are. Okay, cool. I guess we should go full screen here somehow. Okay, so you should be able to see what I'm seeing now in VR, and we are casting, streaming both to Instagram and to YouTube. So feel free to join me over in either of those. Hopefully you're able to see a menu kind of floating in front of me. Test it. Can you see my arms? Oh yeah, you can. Okay, just double check. Okay, cool. Haven't done the setup yet. So yeah, welcome to GraphiSketch. This is a great program for 3D modeling in VR. And I use this to start a lot of my digital fashion. So let's just get right on into it. I'm going to start off by looking for some reference images in my landing pad library. And I just loaded up some fashion from Lil Nas. I'm just going to grab these, bring these into my canvas, go to the next page. I think I got a couple more close-ups, and this one back, and this one up and down. Awesome. I'm going to take these, you can scale them up and place them in your world. And it's very fun. It's very I'm just using the grip controllers here to place these images around me. Like making like a mood board, but you're using your body to make that mood board. And the details that you get to see like this, I mean, these are gigantic. These are huge images in front of me. I think you're kind of getting an idea of the scale. You're looking at me in the lower right corner on YouTube. You can probably see what I'm seeing. I'll place it right here. And then we got more at the back. I want to get those close-up details back there. And then got one more on the side. They had a lot of great photographs. All right, cool. So here we are in GraphiSketch. First thing I set up is my reference images. This is the Oculus Quest 2. We don't really need to be plugged into a wire, but I am plugged into a wire just for battery. All right, so we got our references. I'm going to make a new layer, and we're going to call this layer exactly that. I'm just going to call this ref footage, because that is what this is. It's our reference footage. And I'm going to lock that layer. And then I go to a new layer, and this is where I start doing my rough sketches. So in this program, it's really phenomenal. You can actually import geometry, which is so cool, and I actually have a face mesh. I have a body that I use for all my Snap AR fashion. I made this template, body mesh, Snap AR fashion. So if you use this body mesh, whatever you design on this little thing is going to work very well for digital fashion inside of Lens Studio. So there you have it. We have a little human body reference. Hopefully you're able to see it. Let me just double check that you're able to see what I'm seeing. I guess I'll go take a look onto the YouTube screen right now. Are we still casting? Make sure that that is proper. Okay, it is, looks like it is working fine. Okay, cool. So we got our model in here, and we can orient it differently. And yeah, I have my reference human is in here. And then what I do is make another layer yet again, just things nice and organized. And I'm going to lock my reference human. This layer is where I'm going to do my blocking pass. I think of blocking as kind of just deciding what is the main shapes of your character. So I'm just going to, or whatever you're designing, character, fashion. So this one I'm going to probably, maybe I want to unlock my my reference footage for a moment and grab the most full body image, probably this one, and just kind of place this next to me. And we're just worrying about geometry at this point. So we can go ahead and lock that, go back to our blocking path, and I'm going to make it a gold color. And for fun, I'm going to make it really reflective and metallic. Maybe I'll make it a little bit darker gold. Yeah, that looks great. Maybe let's bring in some better lighting into the scene. Just doing a lot of little setup like this really helps. Okay, so we just have a custom environment. And now we have like a nice, chromed out material. Lastly, last thing I want to adjust is the mirroring. I'm going to go ahead and turn on mirroring so that whatever we design on one side, I do think this bit of fashion on the garment here is very symmetrical. So with all that, let's just start off and create my blocking pass. So I'm thinking we're going to need to have some really cool shoulder blades. They'll have to kind of come out like there. We'll do a segment. We'll do a segment here for the arm. There's going to be a lower arm cuff. There's I see a little bit of a bracelet kind of looking thing. Looking at the chest, they're going to, what I'm doing here is just trying to block out what are the main things that I'm going to have to think about when we, start going about designing this. There's a lot of really cool details on the shoulders here and the neck. And then I see that we kind of like just sculpt along the body. And then it looks like it goes into a little bit of a V. It emphasizes the hips a little bit there. I might need to look at a back image of it now. Let's go back into our layers panel, grab my reference footage, and grab this, grab that. The lock still. Oh, it's locked. Gonna unlock it. There we go. That's not a good look at the back. Oh, there we go. There's a good look at the back. Okay, so looking at the back of the garment, you're going to have to worry about, and go back to my blocking layer, we have some pleats here, and it looks like it stays open for most of it. You kind of have to do something kind of symmetrical there. Looks like that shape continues on the back, and then there's going to be these lines that kind of seal it all together. Back also turns almost into like a shield of like armor around the butt. And then we have leg segments. Looks like that's going to be a segment that we'll make in there. And let's go back to a front view. All right, so the front view looks like it emphasizes the abs. We'll need to create those as well. How many abs? It's like a 6. So 1, 2, 3, and then you divide those in twos. And then I see a lot of cool nails and stuff, but we'll do those in Substance Painter. I'm just kind of marking them just so I remember them. Looks like the knees are pretty interesting. The knees are their own bit of geometry. It looks kind of like a rounded sphere thing. And you see the back of the knee. What is the back of the knee? I guess it just like continues that metal. And then we have almost like a shin guard. And it looks like a little piece of metal kind of goes over at the top of the foot. And there's a little bit of a bar around the bottom. Okay, so just look at that. So nothing comes up past the lower jaws, but we'll make sure that we keep these in here. And they go into a V shape there, and then there's like a little gem on the neck, and then there's more lines. Okay, so already, we have kind of like a rough idea. Oh, I'm seeing another shape in here. So like a little thing in there that's kind of cool. Arms have a little pattern on there. And then the elbows are are similar to the knees. It looks like two circles split up. I round that off. Okay, so some people would be done with this, but I'm not. This is just the beginning. We're at a spot now where we kind of have a rough idea of what our model is going to look like, and we have our kind of main areas of emphasis. So what I do now is move on. I lock the blocking layer, make a new layer, and I'm going to call this maybe plane or plane pass, plane underscore pass. So there's a tool inside of Gravity Sketch, inside the primitives, called your plane, and I turn on subdivision subdivision object. What this lets you do is draw out planes like this, and then we can literally stitch them and add them. This is called topology. So this is a topology tool. You can use it to build out all your forms. You can grab individual vertices and move them. You can grab entire planes and move and rotate them. So it's a fantastic tool for exactly what we're going to be doing right now. So I'm going to go back a couple steps, delete this. So same idea as before. What we're doing on this plane pass is we're only going to kind of block out some of the key forms that we need. I'm going to go back to my blocking path. I'm going to lower the opacity. It's kind of hard to see through it. Okay, now it's like opaque-ish. Cool. And then I'm going to lock it, and then we'll go back to our plane path. I'll to the human and lower their opacity so I can kind of see through them a little bit. Cool. And yeah, we'll leave that, and then we're on our plane pass. All right, so first things first, I'm going to work on the shoulders. I'm thinking we start off with a plane, like that. I'm going to place this in here. And then with the edit tool, I'm going to switch on restricted movement and create like a block right here. Because what we're going to be doing later is turning on subdivisions, which is going to smooth it all out. But if we start off by designing it in a blocked kind of way, it'll be much lighter on the computer, on the VR headset, to do that kind of movement earlier than later. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and take this shape, duplicate it, turn it this way. I'm going to grab the space and shrink it down. Again, looking at what that subdivision is going to look like. Yes, that's going to work. That's going to be those little things on the shoulders. This is where I might want to get a closer shot of the shoulders. Left focus on the body, more focus on the shoulder. Oh, there we go. This is a great one. Shoulders and the arm stuff. I'll just place that here, make it all large. And let's put a space here. Okay, I'll make sure that we aren't going past the ears. Like I am. Actually, I do have to go past the ears right now because I'm designing it with something in mind. I lost my train of thought there. I'll get back to that thought later. There. Grab our edge selection tool. Make it a little bit sharper, so I'm going to grab this edge and just shrink it together. Great, grab this shape and subdivide it and kind of push and pull on it. We'll be able to smooth it out a lot more inside of a program called Cinema 4D. Or if you don't have Cinema 4D or don't want to pay their license, another alternative is Blender, where you can kind of process this a lot better. One thing I'm going to do right now is I'm getting a little confused with the lighting. So I'm going to go to my blocking pass and grab everything by making a large selection. Yeah, doing a large selection. And then with everything selected, with everything selected, I'm going to grab the color palette and just change it to something else for the time being. But yeah, the white kind of helps for me to see it a little bit better. And then we'll go back into blocking path and back to our plane pass. We're going to continue working on the planes on the arms. Okay, so it looks like these kind of shapes in the arm here duplicated a couple of times. So I'm going to flatten out this shape a little bit. And then we're going to take that shape and copy it want to make sure that I'm staying aligned with the arm geometry and not falling too far off of it. Otherwise, that will create a whole host of problems after the fact that I don't want to deal with. Problems about alignment of models and stuff flipping through itself. I try to avoid those things early on so that we don't have a bunch of headaches to work with. Okay, that looks great. Might take this one and go to the edge selection and just kind of make it and give it a little bit more of an edge. Bring this one out, snap that together with that vertex, and then the same thing back here. Bring that one out, snap it together with that vertex, and then leave this one open. Just creating like a little spot for light to bend around, because this again will look a lot smoother with different programs that we'll be using. So I just want to get those shapes in there early. Okay, let's work on this like collar piece. So I'm going to grab another plane. Ooh, looks like I switched our material cup. Let's try it again. Make sure we're on the plane paths. We are. And I'm going to place this here. Go to edit mode, and then we just start blocking it. And Gravity Sketch is pretty sweet because it just starts locking your stuff in place. So, you don't really have to worry about everything being perfect. I struggle to have very precise movements in real life when I'm designing. So for me, having like the ability to snap things is super helpful and honestly indispensable for my workflow. I really appreciate what they have here. Adjusting these arcs. If you ever want to have a sharper edge, we can either add another plane like this. Actually, I'll do that. And then I might maybe bring this vertex down a bit, make it a little bit wider in the front. Let's bring up this reference image. Yeah, it's a little bit wider in the front. And there's at least a little bit more space for the neckline as well. We'll do the collar separately. I'm just doing this piece here first. All right, we're going to grab the outer edge if we can on loop. And then push that down and out. And that creates this little, this extra little wall of detail that we can sculpt onto later. All right, let me take a look at the back while we're here. I guess I have to switch out of our reference footage and grab the back outfit. Grab a close up of the back. Oh yeah, we have one over here. Yeah, working in VR on fashion is like very fun because we are working with a very much digital tool set here, but we're using our hands, and that's really like different. We're using our hands for digital fashion, and it's different in a good way because it feels like stuff works the way your brain would want it to work. In that, it's like I want to move this point here, and then I do, and then it does. You're not trying to like work against the software. It's like the tool is working with you. You're collaborating with this tool that is, expanding what you would otherwise struggle to do or find. Let's grab this one, make a little plane there as well. That's the back. Cool. It's the same thing with the collar here. Actually, it looks like this one goes all the way up to the top of the head here. So I'm going to grab these points, make a bigger sphere to grab multiple points at once, and then change the shape so that we have a clear difference between the front and the back of the armor garment looking thing. Just moving points here one by one, two by two, to smooth it out. My nose itches, trying to scratch my nose at the same time here. Okay, cool. All right, I'm just gonna save periodically for safety. So I'm gonna go to the save, and we'll call this I think Versace made this original design. S-A-C-H-E, is that how you spell it? Versace. I don't know. Versace Lil Nas X. Great. All right. Looking back, let's go to the chest. I guess the torso armor. So for the torso, I see where the planes need to be. So let's go on to, maybe I'll do, I'm debating whether to do a separate layer for that or not. We'll do layer separation layer. Let's just work on the same layer, which is, oh, actually just put that on the reference layer. And I want this to only, oh, darn it, we moved, looks like I moved the back of the character onto the reference layer instead of it being on the plane pass. Luckily in Gravity Sketch, you can just honestly grab stuff like this. You can grab stuff like this and just put it onto the layer that you want it to be on. So now these are all grouped together here. And let's bring back our reference human, and let's bring back our little blocking pass that helped us get those guys in there. I'll go back to the plane pass, and now we'll start sculpting the chest. You see the chest here. Certainly close-ups of the torso. This one's pretty good. I just need a flat view of the torso here. Oh, it won't let me grab it. I might have to, oh, there it is. Path, I'm going to grab this plane, hit edit, and then block out the chest. So start off with like a boxy kind of shape here. And then we work our way up to, I guess I'll go underneath the armpit here. So let's just take a couple of points. And then the chest will we'll grab the line tool, the loop tool, and we'll just kind of create like the chest plate here. And then fan it out like it does there. We might need to manually move some points. That's okay. It kind of comes down into the groin. Smooth it out real quick. I just want to see what that's looking like. It's a little bit more form fitting on the top. And then, yeah, looks okay. The shape. We also will probably like cheat the abs. I might use that more like a texture instead of geometry. And that's useful because that's useful to do because we can make the file size less complicated, which will make it easier to unwrap if we get into a habit of separating those parameters from itself. I'm going to taper in the waist a little bit. Different there. I need to make this smaller and look at it further away. Oh, yeah, this one works better. It's a little bit less blurred. So let's go back to our reference footage layer. I'm going to grab this reference, put it here, move this one above me, this one right here, scale it up, but not so much that I can't see it. Okay. So wow, I guess it is a lot more of a curve at the bottom than I anticipated. So I'm just going to grab the outer edge and just kind of play it, like fan it out, and then move this armpit up a little bit, and then maybe grab this whole layer and just dip it underneath the arms. Make sure that we're meeting that boxy shape that we already mapped out a moment ago, or minutes ago. Oh, I see what's going on. What's happening is they're moving this point up, and there's a little bit more curvature in the chest. So I might just kind of, so this tool uses AI in Snapchat to fit any body. So although this like great body that you see in here isn't exactly his proportions, if we design our outfits with this proportion in mind, it will work on anybody's body type when they try it on in Snap, which will be really helpful in making this accessible and fun for people to interact with. My goal is to try to get this whole thing done operational before his album drops on Friday, and I think it would be so cool if people got to wear this in preparation for the album release. You know, you get to wear the fashion of the person you're interested in the music of. I also like how he pushes back boundaries every day and challenges every single norm. All that kind of stuff is awesome, and I want to highlight that because we need more of it, a lot more. Okay, let me add there. I'm just going to push in a little bit. We might have to do some adjustments when this becomes. Let's go ahead and go into the back, and I'm going to grab the line tool, grab the outer line, and then put it there, grab it there, and just snap all these together. There we go. Now let's grab it back under just a regular quick selection mode. Model safely revealing some of the back plating. And then let's see, how does the back tailbone work? Oh, it looks like it goes to like a backwards V. So it kind of mirrors the front in that capacity. I like to play the music while we're sculpting this. I usually do that for to get into the right like mindset behind a particular piece. But I think I'll get a copyright flag, and that would be not very fun to deal with. So fortunately, maybe we'll have to just have. I encourage you to play some music of Lil Nas X in the background at your own place right now while you're tuning into this. Okay, cool. So that looks really good for the torso, and we got a good plating for the neck. Oh, actually, let's do the collar. So I'll start off by lowering this height on the inside shoulders here. Actually, you know what? We could probably keep this as a separate piece of geometry altogether. We don't need this to be actually connected to everything. Just be a separate piece, and that will also help with the UV unwrapping process to have these separate pieces of geometry. Move it down so you can get a little more form fitting on the shoulders, make it nice and comfortable. Pull out a little bit of the geometry on the back. Can you imagine if you were taught geometry like this? I would have cared a lot more about a hypotenuse if I knew that you need that kind of value to decide a good shape for your model to wear as an AR builder. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of educational stuff could be a lot more relevant if they just changed the intention. Like, why are you learning math? Well, it's for fashion. That's a lot. I don't know. I wish that was an option. We didn't have good computers then, so no complaints of the '90s tech. Just didn't have it. But imagine, right now you're a student and you're trying to think of some reason why you should learn coding or math, and now you can legitimately say it's for fashion. So you do need it for some stuff. All right, I'm going to smooth those out. You just see what that looks like. Okay, so that's what 1 point like. Got this collar here. Connected to the front line. Oh no, it's not. So catch that. And then just separate these as two separate pieces that come to pretty much a point around the inside there. We might need to turn off auto snap because it is snapping. It's trying to connect the neck together. Same thing here. Get these two like a pretty sharp point. That looks great. And then let's go ahead and grab our line tool and bring those in. Is making the collar have a tiny bit of thickness because one thing I noticed when I'm designing stuff and when I'm designing AR fashion is sometimes the thickness needs to be not just 2D plain. Otherwise, the body can like move through it and it doesn't look right unless that's like your goal. But usually, it's not the goal. Usually, I want it to feel like someone's neck actually sits inside of this thing. And I have found more success when we add a little bit of thickness to areas that people should be able to see both sides of. Being that this is like a collar, I anticipate what will happen there. You undo that. I'll keep that open for now. Let's see what theirs look like. I have to keep theirs open. I might just get as close as I can before it snaps. Okay. Cool. And then it looks like the shape continues. So I'm going to grab my line tool, grab the bottom ring, and then expand that out. And there we have it. We just kind of made that layered, we just layered it up. And now I can just grab individual areas of interest and just kind of shape it as closely as I can to what I see in the reference that I'm looking around at. So you've got this cool, it's like a two-tiered, layered thing going on with the neck. It looks like the second ring is not as angled upward, so I'm going to maybe grab my line selection and just grab all of that and just try to flatten it out a little bit. Grab all the points a little hard back. I mean, I think that's fine. The goal would be, have Lil Nas try it on and feel like it is honoring the look and feel and energy of the album. If I can do that, I will feel like we succeeded in the goal. I just learned last month that Black folks like myself make up in America about 3% of graphic designers, 3D designers. I hope that statistic's wrong, but I tried to cross-reference it with other statistics, and it seemed like it was accurate, and then that was depressing. So part of the reason why I'm extra motivated to be like a leader in the 3D space, XR space, is to try to change those statistics. If you grow up and you see people that look like you in a field of your interest, it makes it a little bit more of a possibility in your mind that it's like something that can be done. But if there's nobody that looks like you doing something, it makes it a lot harder for people to imagine that as like a career or as something that they can even dream of. So help break the statistics. We need more people that bend stereotypes of gender and masculinity. We need more people with different tones of skin to be entering into the XR space. And my way of trying to make that happen is by democratizing a lot of this knowledge, talking about the tools, getting those into your hands so that you can jump into it. This program, by the way, Gravity Sketch, so we're using it. Save it real quick. This is a free program. I think Facebook, we save Sketch. We'll just save version 2. I think Facebook made it so that I think they gave them a big grant or something, the company Gravity Sketch. And with that big grant, they, I they made it a lot more affordable, as in free, because I think it's a great way for people to be making AR and VR assets and stuff. Okay, cool. Let's turn off and on the guide layer. My layers. I'm gonna go to my guide. The next thing I want to work on, I'm gonna walk around it. Next thing I'm going to work on is the arms. They should be very quick though, super quick actually. So let's go back to our plane path. Let's start off with another plane. Put this kind of in the column of where an arm would go. Maybe even shoot it a little bit, like cheat it in a bit past where it belongs. And then with edit mode turned on, we can go to it and kind of block out each of these, literally block out each of the arm segments. So that's one right there. And let's just smooth it out, maybe even open the end of it. Grab my loop selection tools. I can grab that whole loop and maybe expand it. I think the upper arm is a little bit wider than the elbow, so there's a slight taper that comes in at the elbow here. You just, quite literally orbit around our model and make sure that it fits. And it looks like it appears to be fitting. Grab both these sides here, turn off loop selection. I'm just going to grab these sides, kind of fill up that column of that arm. And right down the arm here. Okay, I'll keep that one pretty simple. Let's just grab that loop, and I might just close it up. Okay. And if you ever want to sharpen a subdivision edge, you just add another loop cut, and that makes a really sharp chisel. And if you can grab a sketch, if you do a half press, you can preview where that cut is going to go before you commit to the cut. So I might do one like right over here. That's good. I'm going to edit this one more time and maybe pull this part of the arm under the armpit. Since there's going to probably be a little bit of bending happening here, I'm going to add another loop segment because that will allow us some flexibility of movement for a person wearing this filter. If you don't put any like loops like that in areas that are going to bend, it won't look good because there's nowhere for it to bend. Without having those loops there, it doesn't know that it should bend properly. But I don't really want it to bend in this section, which is why I'm not adding more loops. I do want to keep that more like a solid piece. I'm going to duplicate this and use it for the lower arm. We're going to make a little change though. The main one is just grabbing this loop and almost like, I don't know what you call it, like flattening it or something. Loop and so this just adding a little lip to either end will make it feel more like a solid piece of something versus just like a tube that floats on your arm. And yeah, you're getting all the secrets here today. All right, let's take a look at that arm in more detail. Yeah, I mean, it's really just like looks like a soft cylinder. They have a cool tool now called the, I don't know, smoother. You can smooth out the edges of these things very gently. Flatten it out, grab all these points, widen it, and now we kind of have a, yeah, okay. What next? Elbows. Start off with a plane. I'll just do a regular square. And then with that square, we're going to edit it. We're going to extrude that. And then grab the edge here, extrude that once, this once, subdivide it. And I'll make it a little bit taller by adding a loop in the middle. grabbing these 2 points of the loop, pulling it forward, grabbing these 2, bringing it back down. Cool. And then we'll use this to make like a shape that goes around the whole thing. And then we'll just kind of bring those edges in, kind of softly round those together. Now we have a little elbow thing. But I'll probably just go ahead and close that whole shape because it will be easier for me to make this closed. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more geometry to it, snapping our vertices, extruding that edge, snap that vertice, awesome. And then some ideas, snap that edge, snap that vertice, extrude the edge, snap that vertice, and snap that vertice. Go to the other side of it, and the same thing. Extrude the edge, snap the vertice, extrude the edge, snap the vertice. You reach the calorie target for your. Oh, that's cool. It's just tracking my fitness. I just wanted to do about 15 minutes, burn about a certain number of calories in VR. It's good. It's good. Someone who works mostly at a computer. And even now, like walking around, but basically walking around a computer. All right, so this is going to be an elbow rotation for me. If it looks bad later, I'll probably just put spheres in its place. That's the little elbow thing. Actually, now I'm looking at it, I might want to actually just go ahead and pretty much enclose it. Backwards, get some nice little rotation there. Cool. Very cool. All right, let's work on the kneecaps. Let's start off with a plane. Actually, let's start off with a cube. Might even be better here. So grab a cube. Boom, got a cube and a knee. It's like the. Did any of you watch the show Fairly Odd Parents? If you did, there was a character, an arch nemesis of the Crimson Chin, and he had, I think it was the bronze kneecap, and he was like a villain, and I love that character design. A little off topic, but I just want to point that out. Okay. Crimson Chin. What am I doing with the knees? I guess they're a lot wider. Don't snap to the other one. Edges in a little bit, flatten it out. Yeah, something like this for kneecaps. I don't know why this doesn't feel like the right shape though. Delete the back faces, and then grab a loop around the outside here. And maybe just it'll feel better if I just kind of manually shape this thing. By adding a loop cut. Oh yeah, that feels a lot better for a kneecap. I'm gonna place that. Maybe what I'll do is I'll double it. I'll put that one there, flip it, this one there, make it a little bit more stout. Yeah. Kneecap. Cool. And then I'm gonna copy what I already did for this part of the body and use it as a base for the upper leg. So I hope you're getting the idea of how fun this can be, right? We're not having to reinvent everything that we're doing. In fact, we're just kind of carefully recycling tools when we need them. Make a really cool experience. thick thighs here. See that happening too? It like breaks. Oh, I think they're connected now. Oh no, they're not. Okay. I don't know why that's breaking. I'm just gonna place these here. I looked on Lil Nas' Instagram, and he posted a character, the art that his output had art 52 vibes. He didn't say it verbally. He just said it like in the post by having it in one of the visual depictions of it. All right, I think auto snapping is causing some problems because of how close those bits of geometry are. So let's undo, and I'm going to turn off auto snap. So smart move out, smart move on, auto snap. Vertical lock, home orientation, find sketch. No, 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 no. Vertical lock. Then speaking edit. Oh, there it is. No, snap is off. Okay. I don't know what that is. Well, then I'll just make it from scratch. Start off with a. Oh no, I'm gonna start with a cube. That'll be great. And then I'll go to edit mode and make it nice and vertical. Again, go to edit mode, grab that top face, put it up, grab this face here, you would lock it inside. Then we open up the top by deleting bottom openings. Then we subdivide those to smooth out. That gives us the parameters to quickly change the shape. Okay, there. I don't know if the butt will work like this. We might need to add a bit more geometry to the butt. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, where's the first? I'll grab the loop selection. Ah, there it is. It's hidden really well. There it is. I was wondering where the butt geometry was. Legs are so hard to work on here. I'll keep those pretty lightweight. Maybe add one or two subdivisions around the edge there. Maybe some around the groin in case there is bending that happens. But for the most part, that bone shouldn't really bend all that much. All right, so let's just place this here for the shin. And start doing the same trick as before. Grab some edges and get it to match. Cool. Awesome. And then we'll do the same thing pretty much. But I'll delete the front of that. Okay, I'll delete just then delete the bottom as well. Apply that shape. Let's try that again. turned into a rectangle. Go to the bottom of the cube. We delete the bottom. We delete the front, back, and then we round this thing. Yeah, yeah. Wow. I didn't even notice the shoes were designed really well too. Let's go into my layers, reference footage layer. Let me grab this. What are those? Whoa. It looks like the foot's actually separated into two segments. Okay, my mistake. We will grab this piece here, push it back that way. And I'm going to grab this piece here and move that up. A little different, but it's fine. I'm going to duplicate that so we get a nice natural toe bend where we essentially rig this part of the foot to the end of the foot and the other part to the other part. And it'll be great. And then to make it feel less like two-dimensional planes in here, we can grab the outer thing in there and just do a little tiny extrusion in it. And might need some manual adjustments. Same thing for the front. I guess I'll just put a template shape around the bottom of the foot. If I decide later on to make that complicated shape, it will be around this rectangle that we then add a little bit of squash to fit the foot. Something smells like it's burning. So seeing a little bit of a pattern happening here, which is I usually like to block things out and then apply, more rounding and detail after the blocking is thought out. That's just a good little tactic. Hold on, I do smell something burning. Let me just double check that we're in a safe environment. Hey, bud. Let's see if anything's burning. Oh, thank you so much, Scott. And oh, hello, Ashish. Nice workflow putting G sketch to use. Oh, grab a sketch. Yes, you know it. Every day as much as I can. It's a great tool. Yes, looks like we are back. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I'll leave the feet alone. I don't think we need to be focusing too much on here anyway. All right. Next things I want to do is some cleanup work. So I'm going to get rid of our guide blocks. Just kind of A-Bing it here to see if I'm getting all the core shapes that I want. I am getting the core shapes I want, so I'm going to flip back on. just going to grab this actual character and just give them a slightly different color for a minute. The layers locked. There we go. Like the red magenta orange. The thing I'm noticing is that I did not give him a butt. He does not have a butt in my design, but I think it needs it. So let me find a butt reference. Yeah, because it's like a metal plate that he has around the back. Let's add that. So let's go to our plane passes. Oh, it looks like our neck got put into a different layer. Yeah, layer. Lock. Grab the reference layer, get that onto the plane pass. Then go back to our plane pass. Oh, off the button. Grab the same material. Go in with the plane. Snap. It out. It's like they kind of hike this part back in, like a reverse wedgie. Springs through the front. And then how's the front drawing? Close to the front. I might just change a couple things on the legs here. One being going to extend this out now. Oh, that's why we do that's the problem. Yeah, texture effects. I'll have to fake that with texturing. And I'm gonna make the kneecaps smaller. That'll flip it. Cool. Put nuts and bolts on the outfit as well. What I'm probably gonna do is paint those on as textures, but the ones that are up close, like see if I can grab another close image. There we go. These ones you might want to sculpt on because that's where a lot of people, when they hold up their iPhone cameras, they kind of look at their face and stuff first. So I'm going to make a nut bolt shape using a cube, and actually I'll make it a perfect cube. And just by going to the bottom of it, deleting a face, adding subdivisions, and tightening it, we can grab those loops. And messed up. Let me try that again. That. Oh, I'm going to tighten the edge. Oh, I think I accidentally. That was pretty sharp. I'm just going to make the edge a little bit sharp. this kind of little detail, it's pretty low poly, but by adding this throughout our design, it's going to push up the quality that feels like it is. I'm also noticing that this two things weird way now meaning about the upper chest a bit earlier, and then we can now use this shape to create one to go to eye crease. So there's two in the front here. Like it gets more designs. I might add a couple of these. Add a couple of these onto the shoulder. And it looks like we should probably add a couple of these on the side as well, but I'm debating if that should just be a texture, probably just be a texture. I don't know yet. See if we can actually sculpt some abs. Big abs. With that, wait, 1, 2, 3 abs. 1, 2, 3 abs. Okay. Then we'll add some quote next. Bring these in a bit. Central. These abs, the ab deformations into the core of the body. Sometimes I have trouble seeing the light, so they have different shaders in here, and I'll just keep that. And the abs are less pill-like and more like split a little more circular than I thought they would be on a human. Start putting it in that indent a little bit. We can get some ab deformations on the front there. Same to the chest. Feet. Needs to be something without the body. I like it. Oh, there's more of a whatever. I don't know what this is on the wrist. It's like a cup. There's a cup. Let's make that. Start off with a cube. I'll make it be really small. Then we'll go to base. exit those out. Oh, look at the stuff's kind of they fan out. And then I'm going to copy that and put it around the ankles as well. And right now we have nothing on the back of the knee. I don't know if I captured. Okay, looks like it's just. I mean, look like there's a sphere, so I'm just going to put a sphere of influence in there. I'll make it a little bit smaller. Actually, we don't even need it to be that heavy in polygons. So I'll go to customize, and then we're going to reduce the size and complexity of it to 8 by 8. Yeah. I'll rotate these sideways to get some cool reflections. Kind of creating the illusion that the model doesn't have any holes, kind of like armor shouldn't, have any holes. And I think we might want to do that same solution for the elbows. I'm going to copy this sphere. Do that. Let's make whatever that is. Is that the face? I split my eyes and kind of it's the face. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to try to sculpt something similar to it. Oh, put that out of here. Let's go turn off customize. Go to our planes.
wow, there's a necklace too. I didn't even see that until now.
Let me say it again. It's been a while. I wanted to do those things. They're like, I don't know, it's like a rectangle and two cylinders. Yeah. So let's start off with that shape. For this one, I'm going to turn off symmetry, actually. So I'm going to go to my tools, wherever they are, turn off mirroring. Oh, all right, so it's no longer mirroring for the time being, and I can use this to create my core shape of whatever that thing is. So I'm going to do a cube. And on that cube, I'll just make it simple. We'll do do another two cubes. Geometry. Let's reuse that little pin thing earlier. Just going to go there, round it, and then add subdivision on the side, top, circular. Great. Let's just put two of them. Okay, so this is like a little element I'm going to use to decorate different parts. So I'm going to grab all of this and group it together with the purple button. And now it's like you made your own prefab. So we can go around back now with this piece. How many are there on the back? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. I got 2 on the lower waist part. Back of it right now. 3, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Okay. Any other prefabs? Oh, I see. Those are to keep it from separating. Interesting. Fine. I'll put a sphere there. In fact, let's see if we can maybe just connect pieces in here. This shell. And we'll just connect those. Hello. Oh, thank you so much. Yay. Grab some food in a moment. Thank you, love. Wow. You know, one of our first dates was in DR. The more you know. Abs. They look like the abs. They taper differently than I have. Taper downwards. Yeah, imagine putting like a cool reflective material on here. One thing I want to also adjust is whatever this is. It's like this one point sticking out of here, or the arm. Push that in there. And I'll grab this shape, go to the shoulder pad, grab the edge, think that's done. Bring back the body in for reference. Hide my reference. Alright, so there's the body. And then let's get some of our references all close up here and see how they're feeling. I was thinking about modeling the gown. That might be a lot more complicated. Actually, it's no, I'm not doing that. That'll be. I know they have plot simulation, but I want this to work on everyone, so not just people with like iPhone 11s and up. More substance painter, body mesh. Okay, okay. Are there two of these same images? Let's get rid of one of them. All right, let's see how we're feeling. Got this almost like action figure. I'm gonna sculpt his hair for fun right now. It's fun. We don't need to do this, but it will help me feel like it's him. So I'm gonna make a new layer. I guess it's called Z, and then we're gonna bring in some hair color. Great, and I'm gonna switch it to just my regular ink brush. Switch it to matte material. I'm also gonna turn on symmetry. Again, we don't need to do this. I just want to. Hair reference. Paper. Let's do low poly, the light, end caps, planar, auto scale. That's good. Caps, texture, planar. What to do? Try this one and keep all of this stuff. Well, I'm gonna turn off end caps, turn on low poly, and then maybe set this. There we go. So that's a really lightweight thing. Just makes different little tube shapes. Yeah, the hips are a little bit. Okay, yeah, I'll just make the groin a little bit less far down. So I'm just gonna grab the groin, raise it up. scale those down. And lock them up. This also comes down a little bit too, huh? Okay, this passes. Let's go. So what's next? Well, we need to export this all, get all this geometry out of Gravity Sketch and get it onto the desktop, where we do some stuff in Cinema 4D and some stuff in Substance Painter. So I'm happy with this. I'll have to probably widen the thighs in a different tool because the mirroring snapping is too hard for me to get the legs closer together without it breaking. But, oh wait, the shoulders here. See a little potential problem. I'm gonna raise that up a little bit. There we go. Call me by your name. Looking good. Back. Yeah, that should be fine. We have a 3D model of the fit. I'm really happy with the way this one's looking. So I'm gonna export this geometry out now after we save. So let's go ahead and just do a regular save. Save that sketch. Call this one version 4. It's always going to save as you go. That's what Plug always reminds me to do. And let's see, we'll go to export. They have an FBX beta. It works kind of part of the time, but not every time. So I'm going to, for safety, export as an OBJ first. Y-axis is up axis. I'm going to recenter it so everything's centered at the scene. Great, and we'll just hit export. The Versace probably spelled wrong. Lil Nas X also spelled wrong, number 4. And let's see the standby. Please wait, uploading 95%. Oh, it said failed. Failed upload document already exists. Okay, maybe let me rename it. Export. And I'll give it a different name. We'll call this version 5. Export. And I'll recenter it. Check mark. Okay, and I'll call it again, number 6. Please stand by. Please wait, uploading 23%, 20, 40, 60, whatever, 95. Yay, upload success. So that one will work. The exported file will be in landing pad.me. And then I'll also just export it to the FBX beta. It doesn't always work, but if it does work, it's better than the OBJ for this for the later processes. So I will export that one out as well. I'll keep it the same name because it's an FBX file. Different. Your file's uploading to the landing pad. Please wait. Landing pad is working on exporting your file. After export, okay. All right, sweet. So we're done. We're done with the VR part of this tutorial. Again, this program is called Gravity Sketch. It's a fantastic tool. You can use your hands with geometry So it has that organic feel of like, manipulating things with your own hands, but it has all this laser precision of, working on a digital tool, like on a desktop or like an iPad or something. But that looks great. I'm going to proceed to take off the headset and jump onto the desktop, maybe eat some food. So let me just take this off real quick. Did it mess up my hair? I look like Mr. Mugatu. Okay, cool. Here comes another amazing creation. Can't see what you're doing. Oh my goodness, has it not been on the screen? No. What a bummer. How long was it like that? Okay, hopefully we were able to see some of that stuff. I don't know when it stopped working, so awkward. Somebody tell Don we can't see what he's doing for the last 15 minutes. Oh no, that is unfortunate. Well, yeah, casting stopped. Why didn't it tell me that? Bummer. Okay, well, we shall continue. And now I think hopefully you got enough of the stuff that you needed for that part. My apologies. That's a bummer. Let me raise this up and eat some food while we do the next steps here. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Mm-hmm. Okay, next up, a landing pad. Go to recent, and then there's all of them. I'm going to sort these by name. Oh, cool, the FBX is already done, so I'm going to use that one and download it. And then we're going to open up Cinema 4D, one of my favorite programs there. I'm going to shrink myself down a little bit. Menus. FBX file in there. Hmm. Hmm. So what I do at this phase is you're given a couple choices, and one choice is to bring this stuff as separate objects, all the materials. I don't want to do that. So for the, wait, I don't see that option. Okay, I don't see it. Never mind. Okay. All right, so it'll take a couple seconds to load, but there's everything. We have our character that we sculpted. Looks like it got really small, so we'll have to fix up the scaling. And then it brought in all of our reference pictures. It breaks it up into all the same layers that we already had before. So I'm going to grab these three, and then find out the size of an average human. Oh wow! Oh wow! The whole thing got shrunken down. So I might increase the scale of this by 10x, or maybe 100. Oh yeah, 100. Oh wow, even 100 is too small. Is it 1,000 times small? Okay, 1,000 was the closest. Yeah. So just placing it there for reference, and then all of our gigantic images should be back there. I'm going to move all my reference footage down while the scaling got thrown off. That's kind of the reason why I have to, every time I do something in VR, like 3D modeling wise, I always end up having to still bring it into some kind of desktop application to fix things like scaling and subdivision. So it also looks like a lot of the models do not get subdivided; they are still in their blocky form, which is great for performance. It's going to be lightweight and stuff, but less great for um, how I want it to actually look, which will be a lot smoother. Okay, we got some questions. I've been learning a valuable lesson: casting in VR without anyone around. Yeah, I know, because they all have no idea. That's why I had AR glasses. If I had some that could do live streaming and stuff while making content, it'd be great. All right, so I'm going to start off by deleting the hair. I'm not going to be using hair. And the body is all the groups here. So I'm going to relabel this body. What's this layer? Oh, it says that's body. All this should be all of the armor, I think. Okay, yes, that's all the armor. So I'm going to start off and hide the body. And what we're going to do to get the armor to look better is I'm just going to subdivide it. So I'm going to grab a subdivision surface and make everything a child of it. And now it's back to the way I had it in our 3D program. I see that it kind of broke some areas, like it made these rounded instead of not. So we'll need to do some tweaking. Might have the subdivision editor be set to 1 and 1. Let's do a wireframe view, display wireframe. Yeah, it's a really lightweight model. Let me see how many polygons this was before subdivision. So calculate all the edges and stuff, all the planes. Oh yeah, this thing's really light. Couple thousand polygons. And then they have different groups. What is this? Oh, that's that group of stuff there. And I'm guessing it's probably also the same grouping. Are these all just the groups? Is this the tail stuff? Oh, so cool. I can just merge all that as one piece of geometry. So I'm going to do connect objects and delete. So now that just becomes one piece instead of lots of separate pieces. What will it take to work on an AR VR project with you? Ooh, time and money. Both of those things. Because I'm already kind of booked up with collaborations at the moment. But yeah, that's kind of the first thought that came to mind. All right, so I'm also seeing some little points like this. So we're going to just do some cleanup, make sure that things aren't protruding too far, aren't damaging the model. I like the way the abs came out. I might kind of space them out a little bit more here. Same idea, see some kind of breaking models. That, and I'm going to grab this one and just push those into the model group. Okay. Great. Take another bite of some yummy food. Aloha. Welcome, welcome. The keys design says for beginning, what rigging platform do you recommend? I recommend using Mixamo, which is automatically rigging stuff. And I think all you require is an Adobe license. I think that's a great place to start because I think it's the friendliest, in my opinion. It's not really rigging at all. Like you're uploading a model that's set to a T-pose, and then you tell that model to follow a bone system that's already made. The free option to do rigging is Blender, and it's free and it's also excellent at doing it. So that's your other option. And then the version that I'm using right now, I'm using Cinema 4D. This is not free option, but it's how I do most of my rigging. If I'm rigging by hand, if I'm manually rigging, I'll do it this way. So I'm going to add another subdivision surface and throw the little blocks into there, and only subdivide this one by 1. Then I'll go in and add some loop cuts to the outer box to sharpen the edge. So adding a loop cut will also, it's a really fun way to sharpen up your design. The thing to keep in mind with loop cuts is it is adding a lot more polygons to your model. So if you already have a heavy model, you definitely don't want to use loop cuts. You want to try to mitigate them. But in this case, the model that I have is so lightweight that I don't mind adding extra polygons. It's not going to be too noticeable for somebody downloading this AR filter to try it on. I don't think it's going to bug them too much to download it for like an extra millisecond or so. Okay, cool. So that's kind of all of the polygons that I want it to look like. And yeah, that feels pretty good. Well, what is that? Oh, those are the heels. I decided I'm not going to do the heels because I don't think they're going to be seen, and it's going to screw up the ankle rotation having geometry that's past the bottom of the foot. So I'm just going to get rid of it. No one's going to know. How will they know? No one will know. Okay, just see where is the feet, where is the foot? Can't even find the foot. It's under the body. It's under reference. Oh, it's under reference. That's why. It's just like the platform. To get rid of it. Very good. Okay. All right, so let's just save our work here. We have our first version of the model cleaned up a little bit here in Cinema 4D. I'm going to take a couple more bites of food. Great question. The key design on Instagram is asking what are the limitations of Mixamo? The main limitations are that you can't customize, you can't rig anything that's other than a two-legged, two-armed creature or person. It's all humanoid. So that's something to think about. If your character that you're trying to rig is not 2 legs, 2 arms, and about the proportions of a human, the auto rigging tool won't work. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is calculate how many polygons are actually in here. So I'm going to look at it without the wireframe. This looks great. I think this looks very similar to his outfit. Ignore textures and stuff. We haven't done any texturing yet. That will be the last phase. Will be to do all the texturing and stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to boost the quality in the viewport so we can see all the sharpness there. Okay. And then I might as well just make this, I'll just tint it a little bit differently for fun. A little more orange and white there. I'll go to reflections, add another Beckman curve, make it all chromed out, and then we'll tint that chrome. I'm not texturing yet, but I think it would just be kind of fun to see what that would start to look like if we started to bring back some color into it. Cool, just having some fun. All right. Great, so we got an armored looking thing here, and I want to start calculating my wireframe. How many polygons is this? So I'm going to take this top half here, which is everything. I'm going to fuse all of it together into one. Is that a good idea? Yeah, I think we do need to fuse it into one shape. Or wait, is that a bad idea or not? I can't remember if that was what breaks it. I'm gonna save this Cinema 4D file incrementally in case I made a mistake here. So save incremental, which basically copies your file twice, or just makes a copy, and then you're working on a copy instead of working on the original idea. And then I'm gonna grab my subdivisions and do connect objects and delete. So now, whoa, what is that? That is way too dense. What happened there? Subdivisions. What happened? Oh, it's subdivided 6 times. That's absurd. I just wanted to subdivide either once or at most twice. Definitely not 6 times. Let's keep it maybe at 1, or no, twice looks a little bit better, so we get these nice curves on the sides of the shoulders. So I guess we'll keep it there. Let me just see what the wireframe looks like. Wireframe. Yeah, that's not too bad, it doubled. Okay, so let's do connect objects and delete. Great, let's calculate polygons. We're looking at about 20,000. Perfect. I like to keep a lot of my models in AR. I try to keep them under that many polygons. What am I talking about? I try to keep them under 50,000 polygons per per asset. Right now I'm also doing this thing called reversing normals. You see how some of the legs are tinted blue? These ones are actually backwards, and if we try to paint them in any tool, across any program, the textures would appear on the inside of the model, but not on the outside. So I'm going through and flipping all the normals. I wish there was a way in Gravity Sketch to easily see which direction the normals were facing in your modeling, because there's no indicator whether or not your model is backwards. But it's totally required if you're doing stuff in if you're modeling anything. And I know that they are facing the correct direction if they are orange on the outside and tinted blue on the inside. So I'm looking for any reverse normals. Those look good. Let's try out all of these. Are these reversed anyway? These are all facing the right direction. I'm going to do connect objects and delete there as well. And then we'll merge this with our body. So we've got this plus this, this plus this. Connect objects and delete. All right, so now the whole suit is about 23,000 polygons, super lightweight. And that's another reason why I encourage people to model stuff inside of Gravity Sketch, because if stuff is performing well in VR on a wireless headset, it's going to usually perform very well in AR, in glasses or on a smartphone. It is a lot of polys, but as long as your scenes are like under 100,000 polygons in an AR thing, it usually performs really well. Okay. I don't know where all this is. Oh, these are my reference images. Okay. So we just hit the references, just make sure these are separate layers. Our body is a separate layer than our suit. I'm going to now label this suit. Make sure that we're grabbing all the suit geometry. Yeah, that is. You have to eat, bro. I am eating. I have food right here. Taking little bites. All right. I think the geometry is done. I'm gonna now turn off / delete my reference footage. So we're only left with our body geometry, which is the hands, I guess left hand, right hand, head, and then torso, body. Should probably label these. And then we have our suit. The next phase is to add the bones. You can download a template on Snapchat that has a rig that you can bind to, but it's not perfect. Sword. Did he have a sword? Lil Nas X Met Gala sword. I don't see a sword in here.
Lil Nas X just attended his first ever Met Gala and slayed the whole damn thing, posing with many of his celebrity friends inside the event.
Are you on a
I feel amazing.
The 22-year-old singer sported not one, not two, but 3 gold looks by Versace on the red carpet before he even stepped foot into the party. That's the Grammy winner rocking an ornate cape, which he dropped to reveal a suit of armor.
Oh, the reveal!
And yes, he shed that layer too, leaving him to stun in a shiny bodysuit. And inside the event, it was Selfie City. Lil Nas X snapped pic after pic with his celeb pals, including Billie Eilish, Timothée Chalamet, Addison Rae and Dixie D'Amelio, Frank Ocean, Yara Shahidi, Pete Davidson, Lil Uzi Vert, Jack Harlow, and Erykah Badu. And yes, they are posing in the bathroom. Which, sidebar, has become kind of a tradition at fashion's biggest night, after Kylie Jenner started the trend in 2017 with this epic group shot.
I love it.
But back to Lil Nas X.
This is a week, baby.
The singer's epic Met Gala appearance wasn't his only show-stopping red carpet moment this week.
I'm gonna give y'all something. It's gonna be a week. It's gonna be a great week.
Oh, I can.
It's gonna be a week.
On Sunday, the Georgia native had heads turning in this lilac Versace pantsuit with a matching train at the MTV Video Music Awards.
You are serving up some fashion tonight, honey.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Stop
Wait,
it.
What?
Shortly after that, Lil Nas X took home the VMA for Video of the Year for Montero Call Me By Your Name, the top honor of the night.
Woo! Video of the-
Okay, I don't see a sword in the outfit, so I didn't model a sword with it. But next step, I've already built a rig for Snap that I use, but I modified the one that they provided on their website. It's called the 3D Body Mesh Template. If you look up Lens Studio 3D Body Mesh Template, you should be able to find it. And so I'm going to pull up the one that I made for Snap. I made some modifications. So it's body mesh Snap for Fashion FBX. I'm going to bring this into here. First off, where we go? I don't see the body. Oh, wait, I saw it for a second. Oh, it's super small. Okay, I guess we might need to scale down our character again. Our fashion. I'm going to scale this whole thing down to something really tiny. Let's go to maybe 1% of that size. Okay, 1% is way too small. About 10%. Still too small. About 100%. Okay, that's getting pretty close. Oh wait. Basically, I need to match my my body of my character needs to match that one over there. So I'm just going to eyeball it manually, just place it as close as I can to the scale and proportions of the body reference. The feet on mine broke, so I usually delete the the bottom bone there, but everything else seems to work pretty well with this template. Place the anchor point right at the heels, and then we should be able to scale it up and down, and then align our bones with their bones. There we go. Okay, so now my model that we did matches the one that has bones. That's a really important detail. So the one that has bones is already rigged. So that means if I were to grab, for example, a spine, and I rotate it, it's going to move that character. So this thing has bones and my character does not. So if I turn off all the geometry of the reference template, you'll see that this is the bone system. What we need to do is get our geometry, our suit, and our body to follow. Actually, no, I'll keep their body. Yeah, I'll keep the body because those ones are already rigged, and I'll just save us some time. So I'm going to delete my body. We don't need it anymore. Okay, actually, let me align it first. See their body. Body. There we go. Okay, so now the two bodies align. I'm going to delete my character's body geometry. And now we have the snap body geometry on top of my character. And again, right now, just the snap body is rigged, so not the suit. That's why I'm able to move body here by changing grabbing a bone, rotating it, but I'm not able to see that represented on the on my character suit yet. So the way we do it is interesting. We have to go to our skeleton and click on Unfold All or Expand All. I can find that word, Unfold All. And then we grab this whole skeleton and we go all the way to the bottom so that the whole hierarchy of bones are selected. And then we hold Control and grab the geometry that we want it to do it to. In this case, it's my suit. And then we go to Character and we choose the word Bind. It takes a couple seconds if you have a slower computer. And then you'll see that you have all this relationship. Now what happens is if I rotate a bone, it's going to also rotate the outfit, which is really great. But it's not perfect. We have to do this process called weight painting. It's where we go really precise with what bones should be moving with what things. So for example, I look at that left arm and I bend my shoulder down. I want my shoulder pad to follow. I don't want my shoulder pad. I really don't want the shoulder pad to just stretch like that. That would break the illusion that it's some kind of hard surface. So the auto rigging can get you, at a good place to start. Like it looks like it did a pretty good job with the ribs there. It did a good job with the lower spine. See how it does with the hips. Looks like that's working nicely. The head looks great. But it looks like it struggles with things like armpits and shoulders and stuff. So let me see how the legs came out. Let's go to left upper leg. Actually, the legs look like they rigged really nicely. So that's great. Let's take a look at the knee. Okay, so it looks like a lot of those bones worked pretty well. The one that says, will we be able to download this tutorial for later reference? I sure hope so. I'm live streaming onto YouTube as we speak right now. So this the YouTube video is going to be there forever, I hope. So you can watch it later on YouTube. But now we could say you're done. You could bring this now into Lens Studio and you will be able to move the body with your own body from camera data. But I'm not done. I want to go and make the model better. So I go into the rigging tab, and this is where things get super complicated. Every single bone has a weight influence. Let me just set the clipping distance, go to tiny. Okay. So every single bone has a weight influence, and that weight is represented by a color. So in this case, the hips are going to control everything that have the same color as it. The spine is going to control all of the geometry right in there. And these paints were all applied automatically when we opened up this project. But they're not perfect because humans don't really have shoulders that go that high in real life. So what we have to do is manually fix the areas where it painted incorrectly. For example, like this. You see how the green is only influencing half of the shoulder blade? That's why that half of the blade moves down, but the part that's not painted is not going to move. And that's not actually how I want this to work. So this is probably the most tedious process, but you got to do it. If you want to have some cool fashion, we got to go in bone by bone and apply the weight paint ourselves with the weight painting brushes. You can do this for free inside a inside a blender, or you can do it manually like we're doing here today. Yeah, so anywho, let's grab my left arm, and I'm going to define what do I want to move when my left arm bends. And I'm going to go to my weight paint tool and turn off projection, and holding Alt will do the opposite of whatever you're painting. So I don't want it to influence that at all, and I don't want it to influence that at all, and I want it to entirely influence the shoulder blade. So I'm going to click all of that. I want it to influence that and influence that. I want it to influence this. I also want it to influence that. And that's about it. That's all I want. Oh, actually, I don't want it to influence there or there. It's like it's not attributing that correctly. I might need to fix that more manually. But once you apply a weight paint like I just did here, we can then go in with the move brush and just move our rig around. You can see how that moves a lot better now. Now the whole shoulder is going to move all together because it's all applied. Without that weight paint that we just did, when we moved a bone, it wouldn't know what part of the rig was allowed to move. I still see some problem areas, like under here, it looks like there's like a scapula that's kind of moving a little bit. So I might need to reduce the influence there. But for the most part, this is what weight painting is all about. I'm going to switch it back onto projection. And then with the projector on, I'm just going to paint out some influence. Okay, there we go. And then let's grab that arm again, just take a look at how it moves. That looks pretty good. I see some weird stuff stretching here, so let's make sure that that is not being influenced by the movement. By grabbing our weight paint tool, switching off projection, holding Alt, and removing that from the influence hierarchy. I warned you, this part gets complicated. Okay, that looks like that arm is working better. Let's try a twist motion. Looks good. Let's try the bend motion. Let's try forward and back. That looks great. Okay, so that arm I would say is done. Then I go to the left forearm, we try the same thing again. That looks pretty good. I maybe don't want to influence, well, let's see. I mean, that's fine. Okay, that looks good. Let's go to the left hand. Oh, you know what? I probably want this cuff to move with the left hand. Or do I actually see what bone is it on? Actually, I think it's on the right spot. The left hand will give it the ability to move freely like this. I guess that's fine. Right shoulder time. Same idea. We've got to go to the right arm and fix this influence. Grab my weight paint brush. I want it to influence these things, but I don't want it to influence that. And I don't want it to influence that, or this. I want it to influence that for sure, and that should probably be good. Yeah, weight painting was probably like the last thing that I learned before I felt really comfortable in 3D. Abduction. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Next joint, right forearm. Let's take a look at the forward bend, downwards bend, twisting. All that looks good. All right, right hand. I mean, I kind of want to maybe cover up the hand a little bit more, but we'll just go with it. I might not put anything on the hands. All right, let's look at the leg. Okay, here's an interesting thing. So this leg is kind of moving the other leg, the other groin. I guess that's actually okay here. I thought it was going to be not okay, but it looks like that's kind of fine actually. La 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 la. All right, let's see the knee here. I'm okay with a little bit of stretching right there on the knee. I mean, that seems fine. Okay, let's take a look at the whole character and just grab all the bones in the system. Take a look at its weight influence. That looks pretty good. Oh, I see one thing that doesn't look good. I want the neck maybe not to move when your head rotates. Yeah, I don't want that. So I'm going to go to what is the head controller. Yeah, I just want the head to be able to move, but I don't want to actually move the collar. I want the collar to stay locked. Oh, we got a question from the Keys Design. Says, how long have you been doing 3D? How long was the learning curve before you were confident in it? Yeah, so I started learning 3D in 2016. 2015, 2016 was when I started learning it, and with being serious about it. And it was with Cinema 4D. And I would say for me, the learning curve was about a year of weekly making something in 3D before I felt pretty comfortable. My personal goal when I was first learning 3D was to, within a year of starting learning Cinema 4D, I wanted to make a render that somebody would mistake as a different artist known as Beeplecraft. He became kind of like my goal of what I wanted someone to think I did. And so I kept working as hard as I could until I would make a render that someone thought that Beeple made. And that year of practice of trying to get to Beeple's quality, every day working a little bit on Cinema 4D, and just starting with whatever I did, like opening up the program, making a shape. I remember just like moving a camera was super important. I didn't even know how to move a camera when I was getting started. And then, once I was able to move a camera, I documented that process and shared it with folks because it's how we learn. All right, so let's take a look at the spine here. Let's see if there's any. It looks like the armpit is doing something kind of weird. It looks like it's working fine. I don't know why the armpit is all sharp like that though. This upper chest doesn't look too good. I might need to smooth out. Yeah, it might be kind of uncomfortable on the character. Let's grab all of the bones again. Okay, so I mean this looks pretty clean. We have a rigged character. How long have you been doing 3D? Oh yeah, oh this is nice. Okay, thank you so much. The Keys. Ibrahim Buna says, "Don't you think it's time to learn how to code?" No. I code is off of tutorials, or I'll hire people that can code. It hasn't been my skill set ever. Visual scripting has helped me do coding a little bit, but I don't see myself needing to learn how to code much more than what I have. Since you have a good experience with 3D and the graphic design, that's true. It would help a lot in meetings and stuff, but I guess my goal is to be able to do creative work that I choose for a comfortable living for as long as I'm alive. And so far, I've been able to do that without having to learn exactly how to code. So I may not, until I reach this point where I can't live comfortably off of doing creative work, I think it'll be hard for me to justify relearning or learning all those tools and stuff. All right, so I think this character is pretty much ready to go. Yeah, now the arm, the geometry moves of the armor, as well as the skin. And we have different bones. Looks like the legs are looking fine. Shin is cool. Okay, let's save our work. Then the transitioning from a traditional design screen printing studio is taking on the challenge of extended reality. Hey, what's up, DJ? Focus, good to see ya. I'm just doing live streaming here to Instagram and to YouTube, sharing the process of making a design inspired by Lil Nas X's outfit from the gala. I want to try to get this done before Friday when his album releases. I'll try to get this to him, send it their way, see what happens. It's not in partnership. It's just I want to see if I can maybe get them to at least see it on other people. So I'm going to go to the UV editor tool, and now we'll go to the skin suit, and we'll need to clean up our UV coordinates. So these are the UVs. UVs are a dimension that's attributed to the surface of your 3D model. And I place those there, and then I'm going to try the auto unwrap and see what happens. So I'm trying the packed algorithm. That doesn't look that bad. Let me see where it put the seams. I'm going to hide the body again temporarily. Go to our body, hide the body there. All right, so that actually looks really clean for where to place the seams. I'm really happy with this. The reason why the auto unwrap, which put these white seams on everything, are in such clean spots is if you use really simple shapes when you're modeling your characters, it's less work for the algorithm to think about when you're when you're unwrapping, and then it usually unwraps things very smoothly. So I'm really happy with this unwrap. We can probably move into painting now. Wow, I wasn't expecting that to be so quick, but I'm very grateful that it was. So yeah, we have our unwrap, we have our body, we have some cool stuff. Let's start painting. I'm going to save this project, and I'm also going to grab everything with the material applied to it and go to standard. I'm going to get rid of all the materials that we don't need in our scene anymore, like all this stuff, all our reference planes and things. Get rid of all that. And now we have this gray for the body. Let me take a look at the body UVs. Maybe those didn't come out. Actually, we don't really need the UVs for the body, but it looks like they all have them. Yeah, they all have them. Looks like it shares one texture ID. That's cool. And that one's all my skin, or I guess armor. Okay, so now we can start painting this inside of a Substance painter. Oh, we got a question from Ibrahim Buna. Says, in case of the feature you decide to make a game in Unity, there's a visual scripting add-on called Bolt. It's awesome, and there are a lot of tutorials for it. That's super sweet. Yeah, I mean, I'm always down to learn stuff when I need it, for a particular goal that I'm trying to meet. But honestly, if I see what you're programming, Bruna, I don't see why I wouldn't just reach out to you. If I've seen what you can code and I need some help, I might just reach out to the source. Okay, so I think our suit is ready to be brought into painting. So I'm going to set this to start up and go to File, Export. I'm going to choose Export Object. And we're going to export this whole model. I'll save it with Lil Nas X collab, and we'll just hit Save. And then I'm going to go into Adobe Substance 3D Painter. Oh yeah, I got the Facebook Ray-Bans. The Ray-Ban stories. These are them. I'm charging them right now. But it's like, they just look like regular glasses, and they have a blue light filter on the one that I got so that I can help me with looking at screens all day. But they have little cameras on them and stuff, but they just look and feel like regular glasses. I'm going to keep letting them charge because I was going to make some content with them later tonight or today. See what time. I don't know how long it takes to charge yet. All right, we're going to go ahead and open up our asset and set the resolution to 2048. We'll look for the Lil Nas X, Sachi, there. We have UV, so we don't need to auto unwrap. Normal map format, DirectX should be fine. We can also change this parameter to where I'm going to export to, which is the Lens Studio. I might just push that to 2048. OpenGL looks good. Hit OK. All right, look at that. Our whole, oh, what's that? I don't really care too much about, wait a second. Oh, there it is. Wait, So that's the body, and that's the armor. There we go. All right, so then let's bring up our references. There's a free tool called PureRef. It's great for you to load up your reference footage things onto a single spot. I love using it. So I can just grab my reference footage of materials and things and then drag them into it. And we can use this as a guide on how to design and paint the character. This one has a lot of good color reference, so I'm going to maybe trim it down a little bit. Then in the corner. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to start off by grabbing our reflective material, go to Edit, Bake Mesh Maps. I'm going to bake a 2048 resolution texture. Use low poly mesh as high poly mesh. I'll check that one on, and we'll just bake the selected textures. All right, so I see some weird shadows. That always comes from the ambient occlusion layer. I'm going to delete the ambient occlusion. All right, so we got our model in here. Great. And then let's jump into our layer material. I'm going to go ahead and fill it with paint. We're going to try to match our colors.
Apple just announced 2 new iPads.
Stop it. There we go. And then let's go ahead and grab this color somewhere with the mute. Then under the color parameters, we're going to play with that metallic slider. I'm also going to bring up some reference, I'm going to bring up an HDRI map so that we can see lighting affect our scene. Whoa, I will not change the solar scale there. Let's unblur the environment. Go to our environments. I have some nice little studio environments to throw in around here, which will look cool with lights. Yeah, I'll try this one for a background environment. Maybe another one. Just try to look for something that's pretty bright, decently bright. That one's pretty good. About Studio 20. Go outside or buy some grass. Oh, bus garage. I like this one. I'm going to reduce the environment opacity, or maybe I'll just increase that blur. Okay. So we have our scene here. And, I'm looking at the material and there's a lot of scratches and dings on it. So I want those. I want scratches and dings. So I'm going to create a roughness map that is using a grunge texture to drive the roughness. It's pretty sweet. I like it. Let's play with the brush pattern. Let's go to our roughness balance there. Now I'm going to grab a smart material like this aluminum, throw the aluminum on top. I'm going to take off the color parameter from the aluminum. And then with this one, we're going to add a black mask. And throw in another maybe Perlin noise. Let me grab fill. And let's look up a nice little grunge texture again. I guess I'm looking for scratches. CRAT, scratches, grunge, dirt, scratchy, perfect. That looks good. What is this? Oh, I see more scratches. So let's add a height map layer. Turn off color, turn off roughness and metallic, turn off opacity, and we'll just worry about height. We'll make the height input be a scratch. So I'll look for scratches over here. And then the height is way too strong. I wish I could lower that. It's the best way to do that. Actually, I'll start with some steel scratched. And then play with that steel scratch parameter, removing that color. All right, let's switch the outer environment light to something a bit more neutral. Black and white, I mean. I might boost the brightness a little bit. It says, the beautiful thing about my employer is that they provide all the graphic design tools for free: Adobe, Autodesk, Max and more. At the same time, it's difficult to learn everything. They also provide a free membership at Udemy. That's pretty sweet. So you can learn tons of stuff at your job. That's the best when like the job that you have is helps train you, in learning stuff beyond what you might have received otherwise. That's really cool. Yeah, I messed up something. Why am I not seeing any changes? Back. Try it again. All right, looks like there's a little bit more yellow in the actual one, but it's hard for me to tell because the lighting is so different in these two environments from each other. This one to create a little bit of an edge, make the edge pop a little bit more, but still trying to keep it in the hue of the yellows and oranges and golds. Maybe we'll push it a little more towards white. It just kind of adds a little bit of an edge. Literally, it adds an edge to everything. Sharpens it up. Okay. Save my work in case something crashes. Okay. So yeah, I guess the last things I wanted to do was add some little details to like arms and stuff, and create some like these lines that are around the front plate, which we don't have currently. So to do that, I was going to make a new fill layer with no color, no roughness, no metallic or normals or opacity, just height, actually height and normals. And then I was going to add a little bit of height. And then with a regular old brush, I was going to go in, add a black mask, and just create those lines. So I'm going to smooth it out. On symmetry, actually. Oh yeah, it's almost done. Thank you so much for suggesting it yesterday, Imaginary Lobo. Really appreciate that. So yeah, it's just about done. It's fully rigged. I'm just working on painting it now, and then adding those little scuffs and scratches, like I see on this one. I also see they have like a couple of little like whatever these are pins. I have to put them in slightly different spots because I'm just noticing that detail there now, but in principle, that should be fine. Oh, I think this normal got flipped backwards. Earlier, I was talking about the importance of flipping our normals. This is what happens if you don't flip a normal. See how we can't see the top face of it, but we can see the inside face of it. that kind of problem only happens if your normals are facing the wrong way. It's fixable in other programs, but we'll have to, I don't know, we'll have to revisit that area. There's some more details on the whatever this is, shoulder. Oh wow, there's little details on these things too. I almost forgot about the thing that's going down the side. It's almost like a strap. Like there's little nails on it. Oh, thank you so much. Is modeling in VR easier than Cinema 4D and Blender? Yeah, it is actually. I would say certain types of modeling are friendlier in VR, like Gravity Sketch, simply because you get to use your hands in a very intuitive way. You're not having to remember hotkeys. Like there's so much spatial memory that you get free, like just remembering where a menu is, and otherwise that's something that you'd have to traditionally remember in like a lot of artists get all their hotkeys memorized so well in other programs, but if you can have the spatial memory for certain things, you don't have to worry about it as much. Now, what you see right now, what I'm doing right now, it may look like I'm modeling onto this, but it's actually, this is all just normal maps. These are just two-dimensional textures that can create the illusion of depth by changing the direction that a polygon's lighting information hits based off of the shape of the normal. So I'm able to add all these details like abs because I'm painting on the normals. The line between modeling and sculpting, the line between, what am I saying? The line between 3D texturing and 3D modeling has definitely started to blur a lot in the last couple of years, because that looks like I'm modeling actual stuff on there, but I'm not. This is actually just a flat texture. The lighting is changing, creating, it's like contours. Like if you ever watch any makeup tutorials, there's people that can add depth and change the shape of their nose just by changing the way that light hits that part of the skin. Same is true in 3D programs like this. Changing the way the light hits on the ribs, and it's affecting our perception of the shape. It's as if we have shapes in there that we don't really have. It's all an illusion. A really useful one because it adds a lot more detail to your model in a rather inexpensive way. When I say inexpensive, what I really mean is the processing of this model is not getting a lot heavier or anything. It's just yeah, it's just cool. And I'm using the stroke opacity to affect how soft or hard the brush is applying its texture too. You can use this method as well to create little folds and wrinkles in metal. The pecs are a bit more square. Oh, you're right. Yeah, they go a little bit more to a point on the edges there. So let's see if we can square off the pecs. A little hard for me to square off pecs. trying my best to get them to be a little bit more square. Maybe we'll add a sharper corner. Okay, so that kind of gets the armor that Lil Nas was wearing a little bit better. It's gonna be a fun thing to wear. I want to rock this. It's like a night. Oh wow, thank you so much. I'm gonna definitely send it to some people I know that work with him and see what his thoughts are. That'd be sweet if he at least got to see it. But if not, I mean, I have a little bit of time because my goal is to get this done before his album drops on Friday. Notice the abs are touching the pecs. Abs are touching the pecs. Abs touching the pecs. Oh, you're right. The abs are touching the pecs. Good eye. Okay, let's see if we can get the pecs to touch the abs. Super abs. Giving him an 8-pack. That's starting to mess things up. I'm gonna get rid of it. Should have had you here in the modeling phase. I would have moved the pecs up a bit more. We're also seeing the arms and legs when we're seeing the arms and the chest when they're up right now, because I have to keep in mind that this is the shape of the geometry when the arms are sideways. I'm thinking that when the arms bend downwards, it's going to have to leave a little bit of space for that to move down on. Oh wow, there's tons of nails and stuff in the groin. Let's add those. La, 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 la. Call me by your name. Call me by your name. Call me by your name. Okay, so that looks like Lil Nas' outfit a lot. I guess we can do a little bit of. He's got a lot of scratches on the leg. I'm not noticing until now. Oh, and also there's a stripe that goes down the side. Let's add that here, and I don't know how it connects to the top. I'll just imagine it. Maybe it connects back up to those earlier pieces. Create little subtractions in there for the nails. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nails going down the sides. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nails going down the side there. I had no idea you could sculpt into textures in Surface Design, in Substance Designer. That's so rad, right? Yeah, so it's like, it's because everything's getting blurred on what is modeling and what is considered sculpting. I didn't want to do this level of sculpting onto the model because it would make it too heavy. And I want this to be able to not only just work on different devices, I want it to thrive on people with older devices who may not have like the newest Apple thing. And yeah, it should work out pretty well. Different tools now. See, where's the leg? Okay, so it's still the leg right here. Oh wow, even the shin has details like that. I did not even notice until right now. You live in the dark. I wish I could play that song. I feel like if I do, it's gonna get flagged. And it's gonna end my YouTube stream or the Instagram stream or something. Something's gonna suffer. I've been thinking of redesigning my robot character, and this is only adding fuel to the fire. Definitely going to be watching this back later for reference. Yay! Yeah, definitely use it for reference. I mean, your robot looks already really dope, but if you're looking to up its polygon count and stuff, you can definitely do that. These tools are abundant. So is there any back of the legs that I got or no? I don't see any back of the legs. All right, well, I think there would probably be some plating on the back. So let's just create some plates and erase some little holes. that looks like a pretty legit outfit that I would like to rock inside of an AR application. I think I think this will work really well. Hope so. Okay, so the only thing I'm noticing is it seems to be a little bit more of a rose gold tint in theirs. So I'm going to find out if we can add some color. I'm gonna fill the whole thing with color real quick, and then just try to get it to be a little bit more of that rose gold material. And we'll set the transfer mode to something like screen or multiply or additive. That way we get a little bit of it. And then I'm going to add a black mask, and we could just paint in where we want it to go. In this case, I'm going to use a light field generator to add some light to the upper parts of it. So we'll use the light direction to influence the kind of rose gold material. So I'm going to go from a top angle, and let's just take a look at the highlight level so I can actually see it better. Yeah, it seems like it's on all the upper areas. Now I might just fade it off a little bit, attenuate that light. So just a little bit of rose gold on the upper parts of the character. Oh yeah, no problem at all. Okay, I'm really happy with this. Texturing, I think, is about done. And then I'll do a face filter where we'll paint the eye because he's got this cool little gold makeup on the side of the eye. It has a pretty cool look to it. I want to add that, but we'll do that on the face paint layer instead. And then maybe we'll do earrings. I don't know. Oh, there's the back. There's a loop thing in the back. I forgot. This thing. There's also a little bit of a seam down center back. That's funny. I just tried to rotate around his outfit in the 2D view of the photograph. I was like, why can't I go around the back of it? And it looks like they put a seam down the back, the arm there. So I'm seeing on there. And then the elbow has a horizontal line across the back of it. Whole thing. Ooh, that looks like it breaks it to do that. I'm going to ignore that. Okay. Okay, that's a wrap on that. Whew. A lot of work. VR to 3D to AR to a bunch of stuff. Let's see if we can get this to be worn. I'm gonna try to wear this on the feet. Try. Oh yeah, scratches. I forgot about that. He had some cool scratches here on the fronts. It looks like there's some scratches in the arms. So I'm gonna make a new paint layer. We're gonna temporarily fill that with red just so I can see where the scratches are gonna go. And I'll turn off, I think we're gonna only really wanna play with the roughness and the height. For now, I'll keep metallic and color on there. And we'll add a black mask. And then we're gonna switch our brush type input to scratches. Scratches. Oh, it's a particle brush. I don't see it scratching it out. Let's try maybe Kyle scratches. No, nothing. Oh, they're very, very faint. Yeah, I barely see anything. Okay, let me try a different brush. How are all these so weak? Brush distance, stroke opacity, flow, all those are normal. Let's try this again. I'm going to make a new fill layer. I'm going to add a black mask, and then I want to paint within that mask scratches. Why don't I see any scratches? Huh. I don't know what's happening. Normally this would create scratches on the model, so maybe I'm just going to add a regular paint layer. And then on the paint layer, I'm going to turn up the roughness, maybe turn off color, decrease the height, and maybe make it a little bit more metallic. And now we'll be able to add some scratches. Wow, these don't look like scratches at all. Oh, there we go. I think it was brush size related. Okay, those scratches are a little too dense. Let me make it a little bit rougher in there so that the light scatters a bit more, and the height should be less intense. There we go. So these are just like little faint scratches that we can put on the model. And then, do I play with the metallic at all, or let's turn off the symmetry? Weird. Symmetry appears to be turned on, but I don't really want symmetry. All right. Well, you win some, you lose some. I'm just going to place some scratches in here. Play with the height. Maybe boost that roughness. Increase that metallic. Really decrease the height or increase the height, either way. Okay. Done. Cool. Save it one last time, and then I'm going to export my textures for Lens Studio as PNGs. I think we'll up this to 2048. We don't need anything on the initial shader. I think we just need stuff on reflective, but what is initial shader? Oh, that's the polygon. We don't need that. We just need the metal stuff. So let's save that. And then, oh, where's it saving it to? Try it one more time. Go into our Lil Nas X. I'll make a new folder called Mats for materials. export those there, and then we should be able to view them. All right, so this is our paint color. This is our reflective stuff, and then this is our normal maps. So that's all what we just painted right now, represented in like a square form. Which is great. So let's bring this into Lens Studio. Let's wrap it up. Let's get this on here. So I'm gonna open up. Oops. I'm gonna open up Lens Studio now, and I'm also gonna save this out as an FBX file so that we have our rigged version ready to go. My skeleton. This is the rigged one. I don't remember. Okay, yeah, this is the rigged one. Cool. So I'm gonna go to File, File, Export, FBX. And I don't want selection only, I want everything. There's no animation, so you don't have to worry about that. I think all this is good. Yeah, this should all be fine. I'm gonna hit OK and call this outfit.fbx. Cool, and now let's open up Lens Studio. My phone's gonna probably die here. All right, so I'm gonna use the body mesh template. Actually, no, we could do it from scratch. Let me think of, try to think of the best way to do this. Yeah, we use body mesh template. So I'm gonna grab body mesh template. So the body mesh template already has a lot of tracking stuff in here. You can change it to video. I think you can track up to 2 people, but I'm only going to do 1 person just to keep it lighter. And then I don't need the bodysuit. All I really wanted, let's see, is this the vine growing one? That one's kind of cool. Move on body. They're just the templates. Okay, this one's close to what I want to start off from. So it's instantiate. So I'm going to get rid of everything else out of there just to keep the file size light, delete. And then I'm also going to delete that. And we're going to delete the body mesh. Wait, what is this? Where does all that come from? Ah, no, not that either. I have no idea where those vines are coming from. I'm going to delete the body mesh too then. I don't know how this is working. Body, okay. I might feel better just starting off from scratch. So I might just do new project and discard all other things. Set this to skeletal or a body person. I'm going to hide the interface. And let's import our model. We have our camera. I'm going to go to create a new 3D object, and we want to do full body tracking. Wait, this is 2D tracking. I want 3D body tracking. So, no. Go back, go object tracking, or I guess it's full body tracking. That looks correct. And then under 3D body tracking, we can now import our model. So I get the plus sign, and we'll look for our FBX file here. In this case, it's in the Lil Nas X collab, and then we'll do the our fit.fbx and import this in. Okay, and there it is. We're going to toggle it down. I'm going to grab the P for prefab and drag it as a child of the 3D body object. It says that it's tracking, but it's likely that it's either too small or too large. I don't see it, so let's just start multiplying things in factors of 10. All right, I don't see anything at 10x. Oh, there I do. Okay, so let's maybe make it 100x the size. Okay, so now our geometry is tracking to the hip position of our character, which is great. Now what we're going to do is, since the prefab came with all the bones that we rigged and did all the weight painting for, we can grab our 3D body tracker and go to our match hierarchy. And if I choose our fit, it should match all the bones. Looks like that's working. Awesome. Now I'm going to go into our body, which is this thing, and find the, I'm going to grab the head layer here. Where's the head lower? And I'm going to create an occlusion material so that we can see the head behind it, but it will block out the back of the armored suit. So to do that, I'm going to jump into here, look for an occluder material, OCC. And then we're going to apply the occluder material to the head lower, the hands, the body, all this stuff really. So choose material, occluder legacy. I think we're missing something. We should be able to see through it now, but for some reason I don't see through it. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I get this weird blinking effect. Yeah, I'm not sure what the blinking is, why it's blinking. All the blue stuff is the geometry. Oh, I see. We have two materials on everything. Let me maybe turn off some of those extra materials. And now it should just be the occluding material. It shouldn't interfere with itself anymore. Bring back the outfit. Okay, there we go. Only thing that didn't come out right was the lower body. So I might turn that off because it's going to keep occluding and clipping through it. Oh, you said, oh, remove the original material. Actually, Buna, could you help me out with this one? If I wanted to use the, actually, I do want to show the person's body. Never mind. I was thinking of using the machine learning model to remove the person from the scene, but I think that's actually okay in this case. All right, now let's bring in the textures of our suit. So right now it made a reflective material in here. I just want to basically replace this entirely. So I'm going to make a new material. You go to add new, and we can just grab a new PBR material. Simple PBR stands for physically based rendered material, PBR. I'm going to grab that simple PBR. I'm going to call this Substance Painter. I'm going to rename this to Adobe Substance 3D Painter, just so I know that that's the one that I painted. And I'm going to grab my suit and switch the material to the Adobe Substance 3D Painter. Awesome. Now we just got to replace it with our materials. So I jump into Adobe Substance 3D Painter material, and it gives you all these parameters like color and like emissive and all this stuff. So we just jump into each one and fill it up. So I'm going to go to the base color. I don't see it, so we got to go to import from files. Go into my materials. I'm going to grab my base color and then hit OK. Awesome. Then we go into our normal map. Normal map is where bumps are calculated, and we'll do the same thing. Find our plus sign, go to our files, and then there's our normal map, and hit OK. This is going to give us a lot of details onto the model. Awesome, awesome. Now we go to the simple reflection. There it is, simple reflection. And we'll do the same thing. We'll jump into texture, and we'll go to the plus sign, import from files. We'll grab that metallic reflective material there. Oh, it came out pink.
My bad. I don't think I put this in this place. I think I put a texture of an environment here, like an HDRI map. So I'll just use an HDRI that comes with it. That way we just get some nice, oh, that doesn't look too good. Oh, I switched out the normal map, my bad. Keep the normal map. I want to change the simple reflection to reflect the Echo Park environment. Cool, so then we get some nice reflections on the body. And then the metallic, I wanted to use a texture here instead, but I don't see that as an option at the moment. Maybe it is material perims. I forgot how to do that part. Our rim highlight, give us some nice little glow to our character. Getting a little bit of a dropped frame in here, so I'm going to close some progress. I'll close everything because I would love for it to look like this, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to look like this unless we use the same HDRI maps. Actually, let's do that. We could use some of the same HDRIs, which stands for High Dynamic Range Images. That might help. So right now, I don't know if I'm feeling the lighting in here at all. What's the environment light? Let me turn off environment light and this default light. Yeah, I don't like that. The lighting looks really not great. Yeah, I don't like the HDRI on here. And also, the thing came out too metallic. I definitely had a little bit of less metallic on there, but let me keep on adjusting this material and see if we can get something better. Let's detail normals. Oh, how about I use the normal map twice? No, bad idea. How about I use material ID for that? No. How about the color? No, bad idea. Let's cancel that. I recommend you bake the material from Substance Painter and use it as is. Oh, is that an easy thing to do? You're right, because that would be really sweet. Bake it as a texture. What's the best way to do that? Do you know of it? Do you have any tutorials on YouTube on how to do that? Because I know how to do it in Cinema 4D, but it's a little longer to set up. I would love if there was just an easy way to do it from within Substance Painter. So I recommend you bake the material from Substance Painter and use it as is. Yeah, instead of trying to recreate it. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because it's always going to be a little different from this. I know how to do that in Cinema 4D. Okay, you're familiar with Cinema 4D. Same. Yeah, I don't know if maybe Substance Painter doesn't do that. Okay, I think I know how to do it in Cinema 4D. That's the way that, you know, I guess we can do that in there. So let's go into Cinema 4D and I'll grab my material. I'm going to replace all these with default colors and stuff. I'm going to go to viewport, set it to no scaling so we get the full quality texture in there. And then we'll go to our normal map and load in our texture of the normals. Then we'll go to our reflectance. I switch both of these off, add this as a Phong, set the Phong percent global brightness to 1 and 1, and then increase the roughness, swap out the roughness with that pink image, and then grab a metallic. I'll push up the brightness a little bit there. A reflection strength. Got that one again. This is how you do it. Like you make a material like this. I don't know why I'm forgetting everything. And then do I grab that material, right click on it, and sort of bake option? Might have to look it up. Material. Oh, there's bake material. Format. I'll save it as a PNG. Width will make it 2048 by 2048. And file name, I'll just call this test. Save it to a weird spot. PNG, blah, 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 blah. All that looks good. Let me grab a tutorial link for you. Oh, thanks. Options, I want to use polygon selection. No, I want to use color and normal, or I want to do color. Actually, just color, right? Can't remember which ones we check on. I'll just do color for now, and then UVs will leave off because it already has them. And I'm going to click on preview. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to hit bake. And now it's baking all of those. Okay, right now it's just baking color, which we already have. So we don't need a bake color. We want to bake color, luminance, diffusion, color surface, illumination, shadows, ambient occlusion, normals. Let's try to preview it again. Let's bake that one instead. I'll write over it. So it takes a lot longer here because, wait, actually this doesn't look right. Everything's, or unless, is this what it just looks like while it's working, and then does it give us the right answer at the end? Hope so. I'm gonna stop it in case that was in there. Are you sure you want to cancel the bake? Yes. Preview. Yeah, the preview looks totally different. Yeah, that looks no different than this. That's just color. So I guess what I want to bake is color, reflectivity, and normals if I can. So let's go color. Colors and normals and reflections. Yeah. Let's rebake. A little different this time. Let's see if it's gonna work. Whew. Oh, you'll DM it to me? All right, thank you. All right, so it looks like it separated all of these into different images. I'm forgetting how to do this all. Into AR. That's what I was trying to do right now, but right now this one was 3 separate images that I brought into here. He said check your DM code in Instagram. Okay, you got it. Instagram DMs. Thank you, Ibrahim Buna. See what we got going here. Oh, yes, that's actually where I learned from it too. This is a colleague of mine, Roman. Yay. Let's see how they baked it.
Just a model that I've imported from Quixel Mega Scans, and it looks exactly like this. And I've gone ahead and cloned them a couple of bake as rendering lights over here and as well as on the back. So what we'll be doing is that we'll be rendering those light informations and projecting it into our texture over here. So this is the texture that comes with the banana, and it's just a color texture. Everything's set up, progressive. And over here in the effects, we have to make sure we enable ambient occlusion and as well as global illumination. That should be it for the render part, the settings part. As it goes for the materials, it's nothing much. Quixel Mega Scans automatically sets this up for you if you import it. If not, you can. It's a pretty simple material actually. It's just a color channel with a texture, and I've set subsurface scattering the luminance, and I've enabled normals. Now it's important to disable the reflection. So you can see that with the reflection you get a pretty nice highlights. But while doing the texture baking, it's important to disable all reflection channels on the materials if you have any, because we'll be applying them later in Spark here so that we get better interactivity with the lights. So I've disabled that, and the same goes with here. It's just a color channel, subsurface scattering channel over here in the luminance, as well as the normal map. So that's pretty much it. Nothing major over here happening. And the next thing that we'll be doing is baking the texture.
Yeah, I just want to see this part.
So let me just bake the texture for this one, the big one. So I'll enable this to get shadows and whatnot. So what I'll do is I'll right click on the object, go to Cinema 4D tags, and there's a tag called bake texture. With this, we have a couple of options. So we have file name. So let's choose a file name. I'll save this as a banana big, and I'll choose the format as PNG, and the width and the height I'll type it as 1K resolution for now, so that we can get this tutorial quickly done. Now super sampling is something like anti-aliasing to get smoother textures, but I'll leave it at 0 for now to get a quicker result. And the pixel border I'll just type in 20 and enable continue UVs. So what that is going to do is, if we just take a look at the UV editor over here, and we set the pixel.
Oh wow, you can do it in Substance. Send you another link for Substance texture bake. That would be preferred, because then I could save a lot of time here instead of rebuilding it. Thank you so much, Buna. You rock.
So before we go ahead and start texturing this, we're going to need to actually get it into our Substance Painter project. So we're going to, and I'm going ahead and resolution, back open, good, tell to tell me the opening, going different spot. This is our attention over on the left side here. Map
I guess I already picked the textures then.
Our project low poly mesh as the, because this is certainly not, an overly low maps for. We shouldn't have to really play around with these either. We should be good enough going in edges, but it's called out by kind of the big texture. And one so that we kind of find that.
Actually, I'm so happy you pointed this out, Buna, because actually I bake my mesh maps every time I import into Substance Painter, but I've never actually tried to extract those materials out of Substance Painter. So let me open it back up and see if I can maybe just download the materials that are already baked. I always start off my day with baking my mesh maps whenever I'm inside of Adobe Substance 3D Painter. And they all live up in here. Oh, or not, where are they? Your assets. No, not assets. Your project. Oh wow, it didn't save them. Oh, it's these ones. So these are all the baked maps that I made, but none of them are all combined. I guess you're helping refresh my memory. I have seen a hack though. One hack that you can do to create the illusion of texture baking and as just a solid diffuse is to go inside of Adobe Substance Painter like this. And I think what you do is go to an effect known as baked lighting. There should be two baked lighting options. They have baked light, this one, and they have baked lighting environment. They also have baked lighting stylized. They're all great. And I think what you do is you grab your material, you grab your, I think you have to combine everything. So I'm going to grab all of this, right click on it, and just tell it to be grouped. And with this group selected, I'm going to click on light baked. I don't know if it did anything, or maybe I'll double click on it. Or maybe I drag it onto the layer. Okay, cool. So now we have a baked lighting on the very top of this. And now I think, oh no, lighting's supposed to turn on. So if I set this to base color, what you're seeing right now is the base color. This is just texture. This is actually not lighting information. So I think this will get close to what you're describing. So if I go to the baked lighting stylized and start playing around with like the dielectric nature of it, the ambient occlusion, the cavities, we'll be able to create that really nice material and all of its details. But this is just baked right into in the Substance Painter as a texture. So this is actually not lighting. It looks like lighting, but you see that we cheat it right as soon as you rotate the camera or try rotating the lights. You realize there are no lights because right now I'm only viewing base color. So if we can get it looking really sharp in here, changing like the sun angle, for example, and the vertical angle. So it is like kind of like playing with lights, but the different, oh yeah, sky intensity, that's kind of cool, or really cool. You have micro details. You can do things like ambient occlusion depth. I don't really see too much happening there. But this one saves it as a texture, as just like a color image. So I guess it's the same thing. Let's see, horizon color. What color should the horizon be? And again, right now there's no lights in here. It's a trick of it's just paint. We're only seeing paint on here. If I go to edge intensity, we can make the edges a little bit sharp. Specular intensity, diffuse cavities. Yeah, because this way we'll get, for sure we'll get all those sharp highlights right into the model. Like you were, well, I think this kind of addresses what you're wanting. I love your work that you post on Instagram. I know AR is the future for real. Would love you hire you for some projects in the future. Oh wow, thank you so much, Miles. Appreciate that. Is it possible to screenshot the UV texture from here and try to use it? I guess it technically could work as long as you could scale the UVs manually. You could do that. You might lose some resolution, but I don't see why that wouldn't work from like a technical standpoint. Let's grab another light. So that's the other cool thing is you can add multiple light sources with this technique. So I'm going to add another light. Maybe put that on the other side here. You can change the vertical angle. And again, this isn't really a light. This is all just paint that looks like light. A lot of older video games were made this way. I'm going to reduce the intensity of it though, so it just creates a little bit of tension. What's this micro height? What is that? I don't know what that is. I don't see any changes. Okay, well, if you combine this technique with the material, you can get some really cool effects. So I'm going to use this as the base color input now instead. So I just got to remember how to export this as a texture. I think that was a little weird too. So I guess this is just base color, right? So if I go to File, Export Textures, and if I choose this thing and I only export the base color, which is that one, 2048, I think this will work. I'll give it I'll put it in the same folder, but just give it a slightly different name if we can. Hit export, see what happens. Yeah, there it is. So take a look at this one. So this has so much more like lighting and ambient occlusion information versus this one, which is what we currently have inside of Substance. Sorry, inside of Lens Studio. So I'm going to give it this as the colors now, and I think that will fix most of the problems and create some new problems. So I'm going to go to the texture base color and swap it out. Hit that plus sign, import from files, grab the Versace Lil Nas X reflective coat, and then I'm going to turn off this rim highlight for a moment, and then just kind of play around with these parameters. Take the rim highlight and I'll invert that, and simple reflection, turn that back on. Kind of combining techniques a little bit here. I'll set this to maybe 0.01. Oh, that's nothing. I don't see anything out there. This looks so dark. Emissive, maybe. Let's maybe have it emit light. Now that's just too strong. I don't know why I'm not really feeling these materials. Normally I love the way the materials come out. Let me set this to base color. Ooh, emissive. Ooh, no, none of these are good. Let's try the blend mode to normal, or to glass, or to premium alpha. Whoa, screen's kind of cool, but different use case. All right, I have another option. There is some material library that comes with Lens Studio. I might start off with that. So I'm going to click on Choose Material, hit the plus sign, and look for the gold one. That one gets a lot of that gold reflection right. And then I can jump in there and then maybe swap it out with the base texture and give it that Versace detail. And then we can go to that normal map and give it the normal map that we have from before. Oh, that looks much better. And I'll maybe turn my lights back on in my scene and crank up the light strength. Doesn't seem to be kicking on yet. Back to the gold. We have lighting turned on. Roughness is turned on. So I might just make it a little bit rougher there. And then we have baked shadows. Simple. Let's do a rim highlight. And I'll just give it a little bit of a yellowish glow. Change that exponent so it's a little bit sharper on the edges. Maybe make it a little bit more orangish, whitish, gold. Yeah, that looks so much better already. I mean, when we're comparing it to what I'm trying to go for, looks like the saturation is, or not the saturation, the illumination is what's off. I think you should use unlit material. Unlit material, unlit. You mean for the texture, like this one? Oh, yeah, that helps a lot. But then we lose all those shadows. So maybe I'll go to baked shadows, and then I'll give it that one as my shadow input. Don't really see it changing much, but turn off base texture for a second. Oh, it's getting closer. Yeah, that's getting closer bit by bit. Let's maybe boost the saturation. Then I'll go to this one, maybe make it a little bit oranger in those rim highlights. Maybe boost up that intensity, or decrease the exponent, lower the intensity. Awesome. Yeah, that feels pretty good to me. I'm going to add a simple reflection, and we'll use the Echo Park again. That's just too intense, so I'll just set this to like 0.06. I think as soon as I do that, it gets too bright, so I'm going to take that away. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some hacks. Add some hacks to this. So let's see. All right, so that's the white light there. Let's turn on shadows. Go to the environment mapping, and I'll turn on exposure. Oh, there we go. So we can get I want to match the exposure. Looks like the body's hiding, so let's turn the body back on. Put the head back on. There we go. So now we can actually wear the suit. Still looks like it's a little bit more orange in here. It says, you are using PBR material which affected the lighting. In order to use already baked texture, you need to use unlit material. Ah, gotcha. I think. Let me see if I turn off Adobe Substance 3D Painter. Now we're just using our gold shader. And so now our outfit looks pretty similar to that. It still just looks like the gold is a little bit sharper in there. So I might go to the light and maybe add a bit more orange to our front light and then increase that intensity of the orange light. I don't see much of a change there, so let's jump back into our gold shader. Lil Nas outfit. Oh wow, hey, thanks. Let's I'm gonna make this view a little bit smaller here so I can just see them side by side. Yeah, because right now mine looks a little bit like black. It has like a gray kind of tint to it. So let's play with the intensity. What if I invert the rim highlight and then inverse the polar exponent? That actually kind of fixes the problem that I was seeing. I'm just cranking it up slowly. Oh, whoa, it's a very sensitive slider. Okay, there we go. So that's a lot closer to his outfit now. Maybe we can bring back simple reflections again. So let's bring in simple reflections, reduce that intensity. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Now we get some real world reflections. What's modulation map? I don't even know what that means. Can I control where the reflections are hitting? Let's see, let's throw in our whatever that is. Okay, so that's just pink light. I don't want that. What if we give it the Versace texture? Can't tell what that's doing. It appears to be just keeping the color, the proper color of the reflection. So actually I like that. That feels pretty good. I'll go to my base color and keep playing with the color there. What happens if this was white? Just wanted to test something. What if this was blue? Okay, so that's the highlight coming from the top down. So if I get this to be a little bit more orange, it should match pretty nicely. There we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, I'm going to turn on alpha, and I'll also make these two-sided materials so that we were able to see through them. Okay, that looks pretty accurate. It's still a little dark in some areas though, so let's take the intensity of the light here. And I guess we can't go past that intensity. What if I take the environment exposure up on auto exposure right now? I don't really see much happening there. Go to my gold texture. It's roughness. Okay, so roughness is going to scatter our light a bit more. So I'm just going to crank up the roughness a little bit more so that the light scatters instead of reflecting off and making it all dark in the scene. I guess I just didn't have enough roughness before in the material so the light would hit and then just leave the frame. Still feels so dark. Let me try to see another person wearing it. I also brought in my own reference footage in here. I bought these runway models. So I just want to see what they look like on here. Put primes in there. This is another one. Just want to see how the lighting is coming out. So it's so dark. So what I'm going to do. Oh, thank you so much, Buna. I'm okay with the baking process here. I mean, I might want to update it in the future, but for now, what we did is going to work for my purposes. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, I'm looking for a dark and saturated orange to put underneath the character in the shadows. match. I wonder, can I try on this, or is I already have my camera being occupied by another device, so maybe that won't work. Let's see what happens if I switch that on. Logitech. Oh, I just break something. Man, I just broke something. Oh, I see. I can't have my camera being used by two different things at the same time. So I can't wear it myself right now. Not a problem. I will keep on with these ones. Okay. Oof. Looks a little too yellow. Maybe I'll grab a little bit more orange in there. And grab our environment map. Maybe add another light into the scene. This one is living in front of me. Yeah, I'll just put a light there and then boost its intensity a bit. Yeah, that goes fine. And then maybe add a little bit of that reddish hue. There we go. So that looks a lot more like Salvi. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do is add a glow to the whole suit. The way to do this is to duplicate your outfit. So I'm going to grab it and duplicate my outfit. So there's two of them. Oh wait, maybe I won't do it that way. There's probably a better way. Let me think about that. Oh, I'll duplicate my body tracker. And on the duplicate, we're going to add an asset library known as the Bokeh. No, not Bokeh. It's called Bloom. B-L-O-O-M. I'm going to import the Bloom effect. It's going to pop up a couple of warnings. And then what we need to do is get rid of those warnings. So I'm going to jump into the info card and hide it. I'm going to grab my body that needs to have the different color on it, and then set this layer to bloom on that geometry. If I can find that layer, set it to bloom. There we go. And then we'll get rid of their other example content. We don't really need it. And now we can actually add a nice little healthy glow to our scene. So I'm going to now edit our bloom resources under the bloom edit me section. And we can play with the blur size. Actually, I'm going to turn on bloom only for a second. So you see how this is working. It's a render pass. I don't know how to do render passes in Spark AR. My friend Paige is going to show me how to do that soon. But this is how you can do them in Lens Studio. So I'm making this like shape here. I'm making it a little bit brighter in some areas. And then I'm going to turn it back on. And now we have little parts of the model will glow. We change our blending mode to additive. And now our armor will shine. And I might want to make it a little bit more white and gold. So I'm just mixing the two values together, different percentages of it. So now I've got that nice little shine in there. And now I want to test it on my iPhone. I want to test it because I want to see if this works. So usually the bloom is too sensitive on the phone, but it's under sensitive on the computer. So I'm going to end the live stream here on Instagram. So if you still want to watch, you should join us over on YouTube. We are live streaming to YouTube. I'm going to end the stream here on Instagram, so I'll see you there. Delete. So we have this one. We have the YouTube video. All right, and so I'm just going to send this to Snapchat and see if I can try it on and if it works all right. The moment of truth, going from VR to desktop to AR, is it going to work?
your lens ready to preview. Awesome. Let me flip my camera. All right, it looks like it's working. Yeah, it looks like it's working really well. I'll try to see how can I have you see it? But if I take this off here, can you see my phone? This is really weird. Can you see? Okay, there you go. So you should be able to see my phone screen over there. I'll tilt it so you might have a little bit less distortion, but it looks like it's working. Yeah, I think this is going to do. I'll make the whoa, off the camera really badly there. What I'll do is I'll just temporarily make that screen bigger. So it looks like it's working. Cool. Trying on with my new glasses. Oh, they're fully charged. Yay. I don't know how Facebook and Snapchat are going to feel about this. I'm wearing glasses by Facebook, but using the AR tracking from Snap. But I want to see AR work for everybody, so I like to use lots of different tools. Cool, yeah, the tracking looks like it's working out pretty well on the arms and stuff. Are my glasses recording this? Cool. Okay. All right. Well, we're done. Thank you all for tuning in. That's a wrap. I'm gonna keep playing with this and getting it, tweaked up a little bit, but this is pretty much done. Thank you so much, Buna, for your advice on the light baking. That was a good solution, and as among all the other solutions you always have in the streams, I really appreciate it. Let me just move this off screen for a moment, or I'll just use this as like a background behind my phone for a second. It's very meta. Everything's so meta over here right now. And I'll just zoom into this gray field, and then put that over there. And then let's turn off the green screen effect. All right, sweet. Yay. I'll just do a little recording. Cool. Yeah, that's going to work out fine. There's the whole pipeline, folks. All done. Having some troubles focusing my camera right here. Yeah, that looks like it's working. Cool. I'm gonna see if I can send this to
the Lil Nas. I've worked with them once before, but I haven't chatted with them in a long time. So we'll see. That was really fun. So thank you all so much for tuning in and learning with me and exploring some virtual fashion. Yeah, this is the beginning of a lot of cool stuff to come for the future. There's the pipeline. It all exists here today. I'll save this stream here on, where are we? We're on YouTube right now. But yeah, you know, we went through that whole process, and it seems to work really well. Our baked lighting one, and this is with the reactive lights. We have our stuff here inside of Cinema 4D where we did our rigging. So all done. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna end the stream now, and I'll talk to you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.